everybody, and welcome to the Dakota Brando channel. My name is Dakota Brando, and I am here to talk about my top five of 2023, the films I watched last year. So, this is the films I have seen. Here's my letterboxd, and there are several that I haven't seen yet, so if that's why they're not on this top five, then that's why. So, to begin, let's start with Saltburn, directed by Emerald Fennell. She's an Academy Award winner for her previous film. And this film is something special. It is an incredible film. It is something that has to be seen to be believed. Really, the direction, the art direction, from the cinematography to the setting to the actors. There is such a careful eye to every single detail in this film. And it touches on class. It touches on other things that really some other movies haven't touched on this year. It really was one that pushed the boundaries of what film is capable of in several ways, especially Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi. They did an amazing job. What was asked of them was quite intense and incredible, and they nailed it. They nailed it. I think that this should have been nominated for Best Picture. It should have been there, and yet it wasn't. I think this is one of the biggest snubs of this year, but it is in my top five, sitting comfortably at number five. Number four, The Holdovers, directed by Alexander Payne. This is another one that is incredible. Alexander Payne has made films for years. Election, Sideways, all these different films all have a common theme. He's basically the modern John Hughes. He does these amazing character studies and uses these actors and basically has them embody a character so much they get lost in it. And Paul Giamatti has talked about how he doesn't have a lazy eye in real life, but he did in this film, but won't say why, won't say how. So this film talks about grief, it talks about loss, it talks about trying to find your place in the world, especially when you're younger, and having that one teacher, that one person to help you through. It's basically a film for the misfits, a film for people that feel lost. It's cozy, it's warm, it's heartbreaking. It's Alexander Payne. And number three, everybody knows him. It's Martin Scorsese with Killers of the Flower Moon. This is based off the book of the same name. It's a nonfiction book. That one actually talked more about how it was more of a story of the FBI. And with his movie, he decided that he wanted to more focus on the tribe and the Osage Nation. I live not too far from where this is. I am of Native American descent, indigenous descent, and this film really made an impact. I think it is Martin Scorsese's best. It's his not. I don't think it's his exact longest, but it's near there. And people think of Scorsese for one thing. They think of him for gangster films or for action films. But really, what he was able to do here, and what's really impressive, is his capturing of Oklahoma and of the surrounding area. It's his most meditative film. Silence would be a close second to this. I think they have similarities, but what he does here and what he does for the tribe of the Osage Nation is incredible. He had a script, and basically someone went through from the tribe and said, this needs to be changed, this needs to be put in, the language needs to be used more. And Lily Gladstone in this movie, what a performance. It's something that, it's more of an understated performance, but it is on a whole other level. Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro are great, and they always are. And Robert De Niro has played a villain before. He actually, in Martin Scorsese's film Cape Fear, he was Max Cady. something super terrifying. Uh, that's another great performance of his. But in this one, again, everybody is in this film is being understated in a way that really lands on an impact later on in the film. I highly recommend Killers of the Flower Moon. If you've seen it before, see it again. It's better on a second watch, even. And really, it's an important story that needs to be told. What Martin Scorsese talks about at the end, without spoiling it, basically how media codifies and makes these stories lesser than, makes use of them for entertainment when they should be honored and around. Second, now this one's an interesting pick. This is Chile's submission into the Oscars. This is The Settlers, directed by Felipe Galvez. And it is about, in the early 20th century, a landowner hires the horsemen to mark out the perimeter of his extensive property and open a route to the Atlantic Ocean across vast Patagonia. And yes, you can basically say that, but it is so much more. It's a Western. It is something that there's a reason I put this slightly above Killers of the Flower Moon. It does what Killers of the Flower Moon does, but in such a more intense way. It shows the plight of the indigenous people there in South America, in Chile, and Argentina, and it really does make a lasting impact. There's things in here that I just honestly think that the MPAA, the rating board, would not allow in a film from the United States. And as much as Martin Scorsese uses landscape and meditative imagery, this one uses shocking imagery. This one uses intense, violent, and sexual imagery that settlers, and the name of the film, they're settling, but what are they doing? They're doing much more than just putting down a house. They are using the people that are there to accomplish what they want. Not only are they stealing the land, but they are taking over. They're conquering. And this film really brings it out. It is truly something special. There is so many beautiful shots of Argentina and Chile. Highly recommend you check out The Settlers. And for my number one film, this is The Iron Claw, directed by Sean Durkin. This is my favorite film of 2023. The fact that this was not put into the Academy is insane. I think that it is one of the biggest snubs I've been a part of, I've ever seen. How it's not nominated for Best Picture, how Zac Efron is not nominated for Best Actor, is mind-blowing. I think that either people didn't see it enough or just didn't make it under the time limit. There is really no explanation for why this was not nominated. This is the best film of 2023, in my opinion. It is a film that is very sad, very heartbreaking. I cried more here than in any film I have seen in the last decade. I was a mess, and everybody in the theater when I went to see it was a mess too. It is a movie that is so covered in trauma. It is so much about family trauma. It talks about a curse that the family of the Von Erichs had. It was known that they had a long-standing curse, when in actuality, it's just another name for family trauma. And really, it shows Texas in a great light. One thing I remember walking away from this film was saying how amazing that set design is. It looks like there wasn't one thing out of place. The entire movie seemed from the 80s and the 70s. It just was in that time. There was so much attention to detail. Sean Durkin is an amazing director. He has done the Dead Ringers Amazon Prime show. But basically, this movie is his swan song. It's his magnum opus. It is something he's been trying to make for years, and he finally got it made. It is a story that is so sad, and it's a true story, that he had to cut out some parts because it was that hard to watch. If you got the entire story, the true story is just so heartbreaking, it would make the movie unbearable to watch. But The performances from all three actors, including Jeremy Allen White and Harris Dickinson, along with Zac Efron, who play the brothers, are just, they capture brotherly love. They capture trauma. This is a master class in acting. Zac Efron gives a performance that rivals any of the greats. So please check this one out. Number 1 is The Iron Claw. Thank you so much for listening to my video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.